Oop, gotta adjust that thing. Hi, it's Pop Gary. I just thought I'd get online just to chat. Again, I don't know who I'm chatting to. Hopefully, I'm chatting to somebody. I hope you enjoyed my little brother routine and my grandson. Um, I get my act together and maybe get a few people that want to listen. I've got lots of stories to tell about my other grandson. My daughter. My goodness, I've got so many stories. And it's basically just about a 79-year-old man's life in general. The sad part about kids today is that they don't realize when I was a kid, I listened to older people. My goodness, I listened to my grandmother. I didn't have a grandfather. I lost my dad when I was 3 months old, so I didn't even know who my dad was. But I loved older people. I was attracted to them because they had so many realistic stories in that they told the truth, genuine. I talked to my wife's grandmother, mother and father, and excuse me, grandmother and father, and my God, they talked about coming over in a covered wagon. I mean, kids, grandparents might be old, and more than likely, most of us are real boring. But I promise you this: just give them 30 minutes once in a while, once a month. Go over to your grandma and grandpa's or great grandma and grandpa's.
No, Petey.
Ask them to just tell a story. Because we got good ones. At least I do. I have to tell you the story of my company that I ran for 48 years. Um, I'm writing a book on it, and it's basically called "The Story of Two Fires," and it's not a terrible story. For most, it would be, but for me, it was a life of experiences. It taught me so much. It taught me how to say the right things to God. But be careful what you pray for, because sometimes you think you're praying for the right thing and God answers your prayer, and then all of a sudden you realize, I wish I wouldn't have said that. But it's okay, because all of us come short the glory of God. Um, I don't know, from one day to the next is a different day. This morning I woke up at my normal time, 6 o'clock, feeling good, feeling like I wanted to get online, but I know it's too early. Like I say, I don't even know if I'm talking to anybody, but if I'm talking to myself, well, self, I hope you have a lot to say to people. I'm probably a little nuts, but I've got wonderful family. There's 17 of us, and I think I've told you before, I have a one and only daughter, which I married a one and only daughter, which she married a one and only son, which his mom is a one and only daughter. We have a lot of one and onlys that it's a different ballpark when it comes to only children. They're a different breed. I'm from a family of seven. My son in law is from a family of one. He found out later in life, way later, that he had brothers and sisters. He found out they were step brothers and sisters, but they really weren't. They were half brothers and sisters. And I have every one of my siblings are half brothers and sisters. We all had the same mother through very tragic periods. My mother lost her first husband in World War II. She lost my dad in an industrial accident, who he was a war veteran. She lost her third husband to a terrible, terrible car accident. She lost a husband to divorce because he was a severe alcoholic. And he was the one I thought was my dad. I didn't know any better. You can tell I'm a little slow when it comes to thinking because his last name was Good. I had a sister named Good, And I went to school, and people used to joke with me saying, "How are you doing, good O'Donnell?" I didn't catch it. I just thought that was my dad. At 8 years old, my mom informed me it wasn't. It broke my little heart. But you know what? That's life. And I'm none the wiser for it because I'm one of those middle kids. And that's another story I will get into one of these days soon about being a middle child. There's the oldest, there's the youngest, and then there's the ones where there's a lot of brothers and only one sister, or there's a lot of sisters and there's only one brother. I happen to be the one that had lots of brothers, one sister. She's not spoiled, but she was treated differently. My mom, that's just the way parents do. The little girls are always the ones that they're not bad, but they're not good either. And my sister was turned out being a very wonderful young lady. She she's 7 years younger than me, and that was the one that my dad, who I found out was my stepdad, divorced. I took care of her, changed her diaper. I even won a diaper contest when I was a young kid because I could change a diaper faster than most women. That's because I took care of several children. Not a sad story, very hilarious story. But I'm not trying to babble. I'm just trying to think as I go because I'm just getting online to practice, to chat until I get that cook show going. I also think I'm going to start a Bible study, but I'm going to do that later. Um, that's my favorite subject: cooking, fishing, and the Word of God. Word of God is first. And I'm not a preacher. I'm not a religious man. I'm just Pop Carey, the guy who has lived 79 years. Excuse my tears. Lived 79 years, and I can't say I've had a bad life because I've had a great life. God has treated me good. I've had my ups and downs, 2 bouts of cancer. I'm sorry, what? I had to retire. I call it early. I had to retire at 66 years old because the doctor told my wife he doesn't know how to quit. So either get a gravesite ready or get him to quit. Well, as most of you men know, Mama won and I retired. Not happily, but I retired none the same. I thought retirement would be different. I didn't plan to retire till I was at least 80, but here I am 79 and I've been retired for a long time in my eyes. But I thought retirement would be, you take off and you go fishing and you do this, you do that. But I found out, boys, retirement is a honey-do list that never ends. It's as long as you're earning, then some. Honey, can you do this? Honey, can you do that? So I think I was working harder retired than I ever worked as a cabinet maker. But nonetheless, I have a great wife. Ornery, but a great wife. Some people sit there and say to me, we've been married 56 years. We got married at 22. And they'll say to me, how did you stay married so long? And I said, some guys are mad that I say this, but I said, because women are always right, men are wrong. Guys, as an old man, I got to tell you this. You got to let the women win 80 to 90% of the arguments because it's just pride that gets in the way otherwise. I used to be in my church, I used to be a wedding consultant, marriage consultant, excuse me. My wife and I both consulted the marriages. We'd have 2 of them. She'd talk to the women, I'd talk to the men. But I'm going to tell you something. When you marry and you say those vows, I'm one of these kind of guys that believes, you know what? That's the most important thing you can say because watching my mother get divorced twice in her lifetime, she had a hard life. She not only lost her husband in the divorce one, but she also then had a fiance. And unfortunately, he got killed in an automobile accident. So, but she was a tough old bird. She passed away at 84. And I'm going to tell you this, it wasn't because she was not healthy, because I think she could outwalk me. She was a tough old bird, and when she loved to fish just like I did. And when that old gal hiked, she'd climb over stuff that I go, how in the heck did you get to the other side? She just climbed the tree. But no matter what, the vows to me are important because anybody can get a divorce. My sister, I'm very proud of it. Never divorced until she lost her husband. You could ask her, just like you can ask me, was there problems? You're darn right. It's not easy to stay married. But you know what? You got to past all that stuff. You got to just keep going forward. Everything works out in the long run. My brother, my oldest brother, he got one divorce, and then he met the love of his life. And I believe that was the love of his life. But unfortunately, that's another story I'll tell you about one of these days. It's quite interesting. She passed away. And shortly after that, it broke his heart and he passed away. But my other little brother, remember the little brother I talked about, he's still married. I mean, that that gal, his wife, is to me awesome. She has stuck in with him through thick and thin. Like you guys know from the story, she gave him a kidney. I've never seen a couple. They still hold hands. They still slide over and sit next to each other. I'm not a lovey-dovey kind of person, but that's just my wife and I. We're different. And it doesn't mean that we don't love each other. We just show it in a different way. There are those husbands and wives that are just, I call them Ken and Barbies. They love to sit next to each other. They always go open the door for the wife. I do that, guys, but not all the time. I'll admit it. I'm a little slow at doing it. When I first was married, I did it all the time, but you get a little slow when you get older. But now I do open it up. She's a little handicapped, and she's a good woman. I just got to help her. I let her get in that car first, make sure she's buckled up. Older men know what I'm talking about. Sometimes it's the woman that takes care of the man. Uh, I was sick twice in my lifetime. My wife never left my side. I was in the hospital, ICU, and all. And that's another story I'll tell you one day. And I was in the hospital for over a month and a half. But you know what? She slept in my room when I wasn't in ICU. In ICU, she couldn't sleep in my room. But after that, she slept in my room and she made sure that I was okay. And then another time I was in the hospital for almost 2 weeks. There she was. She slept in my room on a throwaway bed that you got to know my wife. It had to have been comfortable for her. And she didn't get much sleep because she doesn't like bright lights. And as you guys know, well, I hope if you do know, you know what I'm talking about. You don't get a lot of sleep when you're in a hospital. They come and take your blood. My particular time, they came in to take my blood every 2 hours. It was faithful. I call them vampires, but they're good. They're cute. And if you get along with your nurses, then you get bonus points. If you're going to be mean and snitty, well, then you're not going to get good nurses. But I got along with all my nurses. And but there she was, through thick and thin. And then the last time in the hospital, I was in there for 15 days. And guess what? It was during COVID. There was my wife. She bought, I don't know how she did it. She said, I'm not going to leave it. She stayed in my room. Those of you guys that lost a spouse or lost a husband and you didn't get to see your wife through the COVID, it saddens my heart because I'm just one of these kind of guys that believes you're in God's hands. I didn't fear COVID and I don't fear any diseases. Some of my doctors got me marked down as a little crazy because I tell them point blank, you're not God. And I know that he knows when my time is up. You don't. You can tell me you do, but you don't. And the doctors, to tell the truth, to be honest, they don't know. We need doctors. My goodness, we need them. But they don't know when the last day is coming, when your last breath is coming. Only God does. Every one of us have a marked day when we're going to pass away. Quite frankly, I'm quite shocked I'm still here. But I am, and I thank God for it every day, every second. Every day's a new day. When I get up in the morning, I always say my prayers, try to read the word, and then I go online. I'm mainly on YouTube. I watch lots of Christian channels. I know it bores most people, but I love it. There's one I want to brag about. If you're out there and you believe in Jesus Christ, watch Watchman River. He's awesome. His name is Tom. He tells the news, which is truthful, and he doesn't try to say he knows all about the news. He talks about the most key point for Christians: Israel. Israel is the final time of the 7 year tribulation. Whether you believe it or you don't, it is. And even if you don't believe, you still got to say, wow, Israel is on the news a lot. That's right. And it's going to be more and more and more. It's always going to point towards Israel. Israel's God's chosen people. That's why in the Bible it says in the last days, it'll be like Noah or Lot. Well, it will be. If you look at the last days, read a simple one. Read Matthew 24, all of it. Jesus kind of explains it to his apostles, the signs of the times of what's going to happen. And, excuse me, I've cleared some out of my want to talk about the Lord, but you look at the signs of the times, guys, everything that it says in that word is happening. I mean, it is truly happening. Those that you have children, if you got some kind of rowdy children, don't get me wrong, there's not a child that doesn't push the window. But read 2 Timothy 4, 1 through 5. It's amazing of what it says in there and what actually is going on. For those that don't know the Word of God and you've got a Bible, read it. It'll blow you away. You sit there and you think to yourself, my God, this is really happening. But that's a Bible thought. And those are where like I say, on my Bible studies, I'll have more and more about it. My favorite subject, as you probably have already known from all my other films, is I love to talk about the last days. Because I believe I've been blessed to be one of those that's in the last generation. It says there'll be a generation. And I believe I'm one of those generations. Um, do I know the time is going to come? Nope. I know it's soon, but I can't give you a date. Number one, I'm not smart enough. Number two, only God knows the date. And when God says, go get your children, Jesus, go get your bride, Jesus, he will. We're considered the bride of Christ. And that's, again, part of my Bible study about the church views the Jewish people. There's two trees. One's the church, one's the Jewish people, which I plan to have a in-depth Bible study about that. For those who want to listen, I first got to get some followers. I might bore the heck out of most of you. I don't know. Like I say, today I'm just kind of in here chatting, talking by myself, more than likely, but chatting. I like to let people, if they ever do get to see this, know that I plan to have some programs. One will be on Bible, one will be definitely on fishing, one will be on the family. To me, family is the most important thing there is in life. And trust me, I have two grandchildren, and I have five. Five. See that, Mom? Five great grandchildren. I love them all. They all got their own personalities. We got them from 7 years old up to 14 years old. But they're a rowdy bunch of kids, but I love every one of them. And I plan to talk about that. I just realized I need to shut that door. I've got you're looking at my bathroom. That's a really good look. Hold on just a second, excuse me. I realized I didn't close the door. I'm looking at the bathroom. That was cute. I hope that's better. This is my cane up here on the wall. I'm a little handicapped, but I don't let that get me down. Sorry about the interruption. I have no idea. I'm new at this, as you probably know, and my grandson's going to probably laugh at this one. I left my door open for the bathroom. He's planning on getting me when I get my cook show going. He's planning on getting me a little stage set up with my oven and a background that looks a little different than a bathroom. I didn't mean to have that there. Sorry, Seb. Didn't say I was a sharp stick before. But it's just fun chatting with you guys. I mean, I'm hoping when I go live on my Bible studies, again, I have to have my grandson teach me because I don't know much about the computer, as you can tell. But I want to be able to chat with you guys. I can type pretty fast, but I'd rather just talk. I, again, don't know if I can do that. Only he does. But slowly but surely, that's why I'm on here practicing. Slowly but surely, I plan to get better at it. You youngsters have got it made. You just know how to whip these things out. I barely know how to make the camera work. Well, actually, that's not true. I don't know how to make the camera work. He set up everything for me. And again, he's going to laugh when he sees what I had in the background. He told me, don't forget you're live. Well, sorry, Seb. Um, I just, as you can, I don't mean to babble, but there's so many things I want to talk to people about. I can't get out much because I'm blind in my left eye. That's why it always looks droopy. This guy right here, that's my right, that's my left. My left eye's blind, so it looks like I'm drunk, but I'm not. I don't drink. Excuse me. I don't smoke. I just drink water and love talking, as you can tell. I know I'm sitting there, like I say, I don't know who I'm talking to. I might not be talking to anybody, but one of these days I will be. Oh, I see there's a zero up there. Well, guys, if you ever get this later, um, don't look like I'm talking to anybody right now, so that's good because I need all the practice I can get. I certainly don't want to embarrass my family because I'm not, again, computer savvy. But slowly but surely, I will learn. I will learn. If I ever get this thing working good and he can show me how it works, we'll be able to shoot stuff. See, I'm not even sitting right. We'll be able to get stuff going the right way. He said I need to look at the camera more, but the camera's up higher, and it just seems weird. I just like sitting here, and it looks like I'm staring into space, but I'm not. I'm looking at the camera to the best of my ability, and it showed you how I wasn't looking very good. I didn't even see the bathroom until I realized it was there. But one of these days, I see where now he showed me. I see where I've been on here for 24 minutes. My goodness, I'm a babbler. I see where I'm literally goofing up, but I definitely see that the people, now I see what he's talking about. And like I say, I'm not talking to anybody. So if anybody gets this, forgive me for my nonsense and my babbling. But again, I will say one more time, in case somebody ever listens to this, I plan to do a cook show, a Bible study. I plan to talk to people about you, my favorite people in Jesus. And I'm planning to talk to married people, because it's, to me, the most important thing in the world, second to the Lord, is staying married, making your problems work. I'll go into stories down the road when we get this. Like I say, I'm not talking to anybody, so it helps me to get my thoughts together, but I want to be able to talk to people, men and women. I even have my wife on sometimes if we get enough ladies that want to talk. And eventually she's going to open up her own channel when it comes to this marriage counseling. We're not perfect. My wife and I are not perfect. We've only had one child. Now we have two grandchildren and five great grandchildren. But I just want to let you know that it's so important when you say those vows. And my wife and I said the vows. We lit two candles, and then the two candles we both picked one up and lit one candle and blew out the two candles because we became one. And I'm very, very, very excited that my daughter has stayed married. She's now 50 plus years old. She's not divorced, married to the same man. And my grandson, unfortunately, they got divorced, but she's married to a gal that I like, and I love. I mean, I love both of them, but divorce is just a terrible thing. And if you ever get this and you're hearing it, you two people that I'm talking to, I'm sorry. I just trying to tell people that marriage is important. You got to somehow make it work. Sometimes just, I want to tell stories. I can tell you stories. I catered to several, well, actually more than several, dozens of marriages that my wife helped, and I helped these young men and women, and we were in our middle age. We weren't old like we are now. I might even have one on grandpas, great grandpas, and how to try to be a good grandpa. They call me Pop Gary, but it's important, guys. But unfortunately, guys, it's hard for kids to listen to you anymore. They don't want to give you the time. It was that way when I was a kid too. My wife hated going to her grandparents. I loved going to her grandparents, and they were the most awesome grandparents I ever knew. Like I told you, it's a story I'll tell you. It was about covered wagons. They totally encircled the wagons, Karen. They circled the wagons, and they came all the way back east. That's pretty exciting, huh? And I'll tell you that story later because there's a lot of funny things in that story. Well, I think I've babbled long enough to myself. There's absolutely nobody online, and I hope somebody listens to this. Just please forgive me for the babbling. I'm practicing. Just put it down as the old man trying to practice. I love all you guys. God bless, and may all of you have a great, great day. Bye bye.